David, my headline tonight is that last night's win by Senator Clinton had absolutely nothing to do with Pennsylvania. It is all about 2012. My reason for stating this is pretty simple. Conventional wisdom tells us that assuming that the Democrats follow their own rules during this election cycle, it is a mathematical certainty that Senator Clinton cannot win the general nomination unless the superdelegates of her party decide to basically ignore the person who has won the majority of the votes, ignore the person who's won the majority of the states, and ignore the person who has the vast number of elected delegates. So that being said, we know Senator Clinton is a very smart woman, and I think that it would behoove her to continue to bloody up Senator Barack Obama, get John McCain in office in 2008, so that her chances in 2012 are good. If Barack Obama,
it makes sense going forward, but I still think that she's got an argument in her own mind and in her own heart, which is a buyer's remorse argument against Obama that actually prevails before this contest is done. Rachel, you're up. Del, who do you like here and why?
I got to tell you, I'm thinking that this is very close. The numbers are looking good for Barack Obama in Indiana right now, but it's also, if I were him, I'd be thinking it's a little bit too close for comfort. He's got to get in there, and he's really got to campaign hard. In Indiana, you have a very small minority population. The median household income is about $40,000 per year. You don't have an extraordinarily high number of college graduates, even though you do have a lot of people who have graduated from high school. But those people tend to vote for Hillary Clinton. If we see another, Jeremiah Wright problem, elitist problem, or a lot of negative campaign ads by Hillary Clinton, it could cost him some points in Indiana. He's got to work very hard in that state.
But Michelle, you do have that home cooking in the Chicago media market for Obama.
Right. He's well, Nick, Joe Scarborough on this program says, look, this hasn't been so mean and nasty. What have he done but created questions about whether Obama is viable and has the experience, has the chop on the job?
Well, and I got to tell you, the last ad she did, I've heard a lot of criticism about it, but I thought it was a very effective ad. Different people have different ideas about who she was reaching out to, but security moms, they put George Bush in the White House in 2004. They did it in 2000. That's who she reached out to in Ohio and Pennsylvania, and it worked in both states. It was not over-the-top negative.
All right, let me get to this third smart take.
Works against Obama, too. It's so ugly.
Give up her claim to the popular vote and just make it about his viability.
Well, that's absolutely what she should do, because for anyone who is a reasonable person, and there are a lot of people out there, people know that Florida and Michigan are not going to count. You cannot count the votes of those two states.
All right, got to go. Be right back after this.
David Gregory.
But Michelle, is there not an opportunity with working class white voters, particularly the core of the Democratic base, might they be susceptible to the McCain argument? He's got crossover appeal. He may come off in many ways as a more moderate Republican. He may have aspects of his values and so on and credentials that may appeal to them.
Look, John McCain is the maverick. He is an independent. He is just the type of candidate that quote-unquote Reagan Democrats would absolutely be attracted to. And the problem within the Democratic Party is that regardless of who the nominee is, you are asking people to either cross over gender lines or to cross over racial lines. And for some people, that could be quite difficult, particularly when all we're talking about is gender and race, and we're not really talking about the policies of either of the candidates. And I suspect that you will see a lot of white working-class voters just say they're tired of it, and they're either going to stay home at the polls or they're going to vote for Senator McCain.
All right, it's a coalition question, and Hillary Clinton's real argument is here that I should be able to make a subjective argument, since neither one of us is going to get to the magic number. And part of that subjective argument is, what kind of coalition can I put together in states that are going to matter? Barack Obama may be doing well in Republican states that he's unlikely to carry in the fall. But look at the coalition that I'm putting together versus what he's putting together in states like Pennsylvania. He could lose a state like Pennsylvania to John McCain if he's losing so badly among Catholic voters. Catholic voters saying, I think only 60% would vote for Obama in the general election if he were up against McCain. Big red flag there.
Well, it is a big flag, but also, one of the other things that we need to talk about is that as the campaign goes on and the negatives of both Senator Obama and Senator Clinton continue to escalate in opinion polls and general election polls, Senator McCain's are going through the roof, and quite frankly, matchup between Senator McCain and Senator Clinton, Senator McCain wins. Same thing, at least for the time being, and again, it's a snapshot in time, but same thing in a matchup between McCain and Senator Obama.
Yeah,
so
but he's not facing a whole lot of scrutiny right now. I mean, he's getting a pretty good ride. He's doing his own thing while everybody's focused on the Democrats.
No, I don't disagree with you,
but this is going to change big time once we get a general election on. The one other thing I think we've got to point out is we're talking about a Democratic primary here. The white Catholics that Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton would have to worry about most in the general elections are not the ones who show up for Democratic primary. So the fact that you lose a particular constituency in the primary doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to get healthy with him in the fall in the general.
All right, we're